New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Jill Riehl.
Tracking again the potential for more showers and thunderstorms as we go throughout the afternoon, evening hours. But to start this morning, we are starting off quiet on our CAV tower cam. Again, quiet conditions to start. We did see a few thunderstorms across the North Country early this morning, but again, those have pushed up to the north and to the east. That is associated with a warm front. Now, what does this warm front bring us? Of course, warmer temperatures, but the humidity is back. Now, with all this extra moisture in the atmosphere, as thunderstorms do begin to develop for this afternoon, many of them, unfortunately, could contain some heavy rain. So we're going to keep a close eye on these conditions as we go throughout the day. Again, just a few sprinkles down towards Hamilton on our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Again, there were some thunderstorms moving through the North Country early this morning. Those are continuing to push to the north and to the east. Quiet weather to our west. We actually may see some sunshine for this morning, which is not good news because as that warm front approaches this afternoon, that's when we'll see the potential for some strong thunderstorms across the region. So dry for this morning. As we head towards the noon hour, you'll notice some thunderstorms will begin to develop. First for the North Country. You'll notice by 2 p.m. some thunderstorms up towards Boonville as well as Camden. Those are going to push into the Mohawk Valley by 4 p.m. So do expect strong thunderstorms late this afternoon, continuing into the evening hours for the southern valleys. And then as we head into tonight, we'll see more in the way of some scattered showers across the region with more thunderstorms for Wednesday. So we're going to keep a close eye on rainfall amounts. Again, we could see up to an inch of rain, inch and a half of rain in those thunderstorms for today. So we're going to keep a close eye on that flooding potential. Again, this is all for this afternoon into the evening hours. A few showers for tonight. And then lather, rinse, and repeat for tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll see another round of thunderstorms across the region, and then we finally dry out as we head towards Thursday. I'll track that severe weather for today coming up. Gary?
Jill, thanks. The Sequoia Creek once.
The time is 5:21. We're saying good morning to Little Falls and all of the Greater Utica region. Not the best boating weather for today, as we will be tracking some showers and some thunderstorms as we go throughout the afternoon hours. Now, some of those thunderstorms may be on the strong side for today, and we're keeping a close eye on the potential for those thunderstorms as they develop. We have a lot of moisture in the air, so flooding is going to be our biggest concern as we go throughout the morning, and especially, though, this afternoon and into the evening hours. We're also going to be tracking the potential for some high winds as we go throughout the second half of today. And of course, flooding is going to be our biggest concern. It is possible not only for today, but for tomorrow as well, as we can see an additional 1 to 3 inches of rain. We've already seen over 5 inches of rain for the month, so the ground is quite saturated at this point in time, as well as those rivers, creeks, and streams are running pretty high. So we'll keep a close eye on those rainfall amounts for today. Gary?
Jill, thanks. Time now to look at some of the events happening locally in the day.
Most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Jill Riehl.
Starting off with relatively quiet weather across the region this morning, but that is going to change as we go throughout the day. A live look at our CAV tower cam, just cloudy skies over the city of Utica for this morning. Now, most of this morning will be dry, just a few spotty showers across the region. So not till this afternoon that we're going to keep a close eye on the sky. Some strong thunderstorms are going to develop across the region for this afternoon. Now, our biggest concern, of course, the idea of some flash flooding possible. It's not going to take much in the way of heavy rain at this point in time to create some flooding, just because we've seen over 5 inches of rain for the month so far. So the ground is very saturated and the creeks, rivers, and streams are running pretty high. On top of that, you will notice as you step outside, those dew points have increased. We're seeing dew points now in that humid to tropical category, and because of that, there's a lot of moisture in the air. So any thunderstorms that do develop could contain some heavy rain. A few spotty showers showing up on our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, but that's pretty much about it for this morning. Got to zoom well off to our west, and there's that warm front that is going to bring us those showers and thunderstorms for today. So on our Skycast by noon, we'll begin to see some activity to our west and to our north. So by 2 p.m. up towards Boonville, Camden, seeing some thunderstorms. The Utica area between 4 and 5 p.m. That's when you want to keep an eye on the sky. Those thunderstorms will be on and off throughout the evening hours before we dry out as we head towards tonight. Again, we're keeping a close eye on those rainfall amounts Any thunderstorm could contain some heavy rain, so we're going to be close to an inch of rainfall within those thunderstorms for today. So we want to keep an eye on those rivers and streams as we head towards this afternoon and evening, with temperatures in the low 80s. For tonight, we'll drop back into the 60s with a few stray showers. And same story for tomorrow, dry to start, thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. And then finally, we see a dry day for Thursday with temperatures in the 80s. We'll look at those thunderstorm potentials coming up in less than 10 minutes. Gary?
Jill, thanks. The U.S. men's basketball team.
The time is 5:50, along with the potential for some heavy rain today. We're also keeping a close eye on some severe thunderstorms as we head towards this afternoon and into the evening hours. So definitely want to keep a close eye to the sky. Our biggest concern, of course, is going to be the potential for some gusty winds. Any of these thunderstorms that do develop today, again, will be on the strong side as we go throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. And of course, with those thunderstorms, we're also going to keep an eye on the potential for some flash flooding because there's a lot of moisture in the air. So some of these thunderstorms will be giving us some heavy rain, not only for today, but for tomorrow as well. Within these 2 days, we could see an additional 1 to 3 inches of rain, which is what we don't need at this point in time. So again, if you do live in one of those flood-prone areas, definitely want to take some precautions for today. Gary?
Jill, thanks. Mohawk Valley Community College.
York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Jill Reel.
We are starting off relatively quiet this morning with just a few sprinkles across central New York and under cloudy skies on our CAV tower cam. Again, that cloud cover will be sticking around for this morning, a few peaks of sun as we go throughout the morning hours. Now, again, the weather will be dry to start, but as we head it towards this afternoon, we'll be tracking some strong thunderstorms as we go throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. And unfortunately, those thunderstorms could bring us some flash flooding once again later on today. We are starting off quite humid across the region. This is our biggest concern. Those dew points have increased rapidly over the last 24 hours. So it is very humid outside, which means there's a lot of moisture in the air. So once those thunderstorms begin to develop, they could contain some heavy rain. Speaking of rain, few showers showing up on our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar just north of Utica. Those are pushing to the north and east. Behind it, quiet weather back towards Syracuse and Rochester. And if you extend that view even further to the west, this is what we're keeping an eye on, a warm front just to our south and west. We'll be bringing those showers and thunderstorms into the area for this afternoon. So let's track it out for you on our Skycast. By noon, a few spotty showers to the west. By 2 p.m., North Country, you will be first to see those thunderstorms that develop. By 4 or 5 o'clock, they're moving through the Mohawk Valley for Utica, back towards Oneida, down towards Hamilton and Norwich. Those will push to the east as we go throughout the evening hours, and then drying out for tonight for another round of thunderstorms develop. So again, within those thunderstorms, we could see some heavy rain. A general ½ inch to an inch of rain is expected for today, but again, some pockets of some heavier rain just north of Utica is possible for this afternoon. Again, just a few sprinkles this morning, thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. As we head into tonight, we'll dry things out. We'll drop back into the 60s. Same story for tomorrow. Dry to start, some thunderstorms late in the day with temperatures in the low 80s. We'll see a return to some sunshine as we head it towards Thursday. Tracking the severity of those thunderstorms coming up. Gary?
Jill, thanks. The Sequoia Creek once again rose.
The time is 6:21. We're saying good morning to Little Falls and all of the greater Utica region. It is. It's not the best boating weather, so to speak, across the region. Thursday will be your boating day. But today we are going to be dealing with some showers and some thunderstorms across the region. Now, our concern with those thunderstorms, we are in the marginal risk, close to the slight risk for some severe weather. So any thunderstorms that do develop could contain some gusty winds. So you definitely want to keep an eye on the sky. And on top of that, those thunderstorms also could contain some heavy rain, which does not help us, as we've seen over 5 inches of rain so far for this month, and it's only July 13th. So again, flooding is possible, flash flooding is possible not only today, but tomorrow as well. So if you do live in any of those flood-prone areas, definitely want to take some precautions this morning out ahead of those thunderstorms this afternoon. Gary?
Jill, thanks. Time now to look at some of the events happening.
York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Jill Reel.
A warm and humid start for your Tuesday with a few showers across the region. A live look at our CAV tower cam. Another day of cloud cover across central New York. We'll try and squeeze in a little bit of sunshine for this morning. Now, it is warm across the region. Skywatchers are reporting temperatures in the 60s, even up north. 64 in Inlet, 65 in Old Forge, 63 in Glenmore, 68 in Clinton, 67 in Westdale and New Hartford. As we head to the south across the southern valleys, waking up in the 60s as well. 65 in Cooperstown, 66 in Milford, 67 in Lawrence, and 68 Edmondson and Morris. Again, few showers north of the Mohawk Valley as you head into central Herkimer County. Otherwise, cloudy skies to start. I am noticing a few breaks in the clouds just south of Syracuse, so some limited sunshine for this morning before a warm front approaches from our west, and that's going to bring us showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. So again, most of this morning will be dry. By the noon hour, you will begin to see a little bit of activity showing up across the North Country. As we head towards 2 p.m., that's when some thunderstorms will begin to develop. As we get closer towards the evening hours, 4, 5 o'clock, that's when those thunderstorms are going to begin to move into the Mohawk Valley. Those will begin to push off to the east. Still some thunderstorm activity for the North Country, though, as we head it towards this evening into the first half of tonight, and then we'll begin to dry out across the region. At this point in time, looks like the heaviest rain will be north of the Mohawk Valley, where it's not as saturated as the Mohawk Valley and for the southern valleys. But again, any thunderstorm could produce some heavy rain, which could lead to some flash flooding. So definitely want to keep an eye on those flood-prone areas for today. Thunderstorms develop this afternoon into the evening hours. The temperatures in the low 80s. For tonight, we'll drop back into the 60s, again with a few showers during the overnight. Another round of thunderstorms as we head towards tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, and then we finally dry out on Thursday. Look at those severe weather parameters coming up. Gary?
Jill, thanks. After being canceled last season due to
the time is 6:50. We are waking up with quiet weather across central New York, just a few sprinkles. But again, I am keeping an eye on the potential for some thunderstorms this afternoon. We are in the marginal to slight risk for severe weather for today. Our biggest concern is going to be not only gusty to damaging winds, but of course the potential for some heavy rain. And again, many areas are already saturated. The ground is already saturated. Rivers, streams, and creeks are already running high. It's not going to take a lot of rain at this point in time to create some flash flooding. So definitely want to keep an eye on those water levels for today. And if you do live in a flood-prone area, take the precautions this morning, as we could see the potential for some flooding as we head towards late this afternoon and into the evening hours. We'll look at that morning commute coming up. Gary?
Jill, thanks. MVCC is hosting.
The time is 7:14, waking up with a few spotty showers across the North Country for this morning as you head up towards Boonville, getting closer into central and northern parts of Herkimer and Hamilton counties. Again, these are just a few spotty showers north of Trenton, again, as you head up towards Boonville to start. Now, what I am tracking is some showers and thunderstorms to our west. That's going to move in as we head it towards this afternoon and into the evening hours, and some of those thunderstorms may be on the strong side. We'll check out the severity coming up. Gary?
Jill, thanks. It's time now to look at some of the events happening locally in the day ahead.
The time is 7:19. Again, we are starting off this morning with just a few spotty showers across central New York. But as we head towards this afternoon, going to want to keep an eye on the sky as we will begin to see some showers and some thunderstorms develop. Some of those thunderstorms may be on the strong to severe side, and our biggest concerns are going to be gusty winds. We could see winds close to 70 miles per hour, but on top of that, within those thunderstorms, they could contain some heavy rain, which could lead to some flooding. So we do have the possibility of some flooding, not only for today, but for tomorrow as well. We can see an additional 1 to 3 inches of rain on top of the 5 inches of rain we've already seen this month. So a lot of places the ground is quite saturated, and those rivers, streams, and creeks are running high. So again, we could see some heavy rain within those thunderstorms today, which could lead to some flash flooding. Gary?
Jill, thanks. After being canceled last season.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Jill Real.
We are starting up with relatively quiet weather across the region, outside of a few showers north of the Mohawk Valley. As we take a live look at our CAV tower cam, we are seeing that cloud cover over the Mohawk Valley for this morning, along with a few showers up across the North Country. Those showers won't be sticking around all morning long. We actually may see a few peaks of sunshine to start, but I am tracking some strong thunderstorms as we head towards this afternoon and into the evening hours. That could lead to some flash flooding with the heavy rain across the region. Those dew points are climbing into the mid to upper 60s, which means We have a lot of moisture in the air to start for this morning. You can see those showers now pushing into the Adirondacks from Boonville up towards Salisbury, Dolgeville. Those showers will continue to push to the north and to the east. Behind it, dry weather for now, but I am tracking showers and thunderstorms to our west. That's going to move into the area as we head towards this afternoon and into the evening hours. So on our Skycast, stopping the clock at noon, just a sprinkler or two possible. It's not till later this afternoon into the evening hours where those thunderstorms will begin to develop. First for the North Country and then moving into the Mohawk Valley after about 4 o'clock, continuing as we head it towards this evening. Another round of thunderstorms possible for the North Country as we head it towards tonight before the weather begins to diminish across the region until tomorrow, where more showers and thunderstorms are possible. Again, outside of those thunderstorms, not expecting a lot of rain, but those thunderstorms could contain some heavy downpours across the region. So we're going to keep a close eye on those rainfall amounts as we go throughout today. About 1/2 inch is possible across most of the region. Most of that will be falling this afternoon into the evening hours, with temperatures in the low 80s as we head into tonight, dropping back into the 60s with some scattered showers throughout the overnight. Taking a look at the rest of your forecast, another round of some thunderstorms as we head it towards Wednesday in the low 80s, finally drying out as we head towards Thursday.
And we are on storm alert here in the Mohawk Valley. We've already had one cancellation. The What the Truck food truck rally on Leland Avenue in Utica this evening has been canceled. Jill is tracking the potential for some dangerous weather later today. And Jill, just how soon are we talking?
Pretty much right now I am tracking one thunderstorm that's just developed within the last half hour. It is over Syracuse at this point in time. Not severe, but is on the strong side as we take a live look at our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. This storm has history of frequent lightning and as well as some heavy rain. It is pushing to the north and to the east about 25 miles per hour. So I'm going to put a track on this as it moves to the northeast. We'll be heading up towards Lee and Lee Center with around 12:30, heading close to Sylvan Beach as we speak right now. Again, this does contain some frequent lightning across the region. And this is just the beginning. We're going to continue to track more in the way of some thunderstorms as we go throughout the afternoon hours. On top of that, it is warm and humid. 68 in Old Forge, 67 in Curtis Corners, but 80 in Clinton, 79 in Castle, 77 in Otsego, and 78 in Cooper Sound. So definitely want to keep an eye on the sky. We're going to be tracking thunderstorms all afternoon long. We'll look at that thunderstorm threat coming up. Gary?
Jill, thanks. Firefighters responded.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Jill Rio.
Well, we did see some quiet start for this morning. Now things are beginning to change across central New York. A live look at our CAV tower cam. We are seeing some sunshine, which actually is not good news as we go throughout the afternoon hours. That's going to help fuel for more thunderstorms. And speaking of thunderstorms, live look at our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. I am tracking a strong thunderstorm that's in northern Madison County, and it's moving to the north and to the east. So I'm going to put a track on this storm for you as it heads to the northeast around 25 miles per hour. We're going to put a track on it for you, let you know where it's going to be and within the next half hour or so. Again, Rome by 12:30, Western as well as Steuben. Now, this thunderstorm has had history of frequent lightning. Just look at the latest lightning strikes, 31 lightning strikes within the last hour. So again, do expect frequent lightning with this storm at this point in time. It is not severe, but again, we are going to be treating it as a strong thunderstorm as it pushes to the north and to the east. It's already impacting areas like Sylvan Beach. As we go throughout the afternoon, this is going to be the trend. Showers and thunderstorms continue throughout the afternoon hours with gusty winds as well as some heavy rain. And unfortunately, with that heavy rain, we could see some flash flooding in some of those flood-prone areas. Now, the reason for the potential for some heavy rain, if you haven't been outside yet, very humid. We're talking about dew points well into the 70s across the region. Once you get dew points in the 70s, that's when it becomes tropical. So there is a lot of moisture in the air helping fuel those thunderstorms. We're just seeing one thunderstorm at this point in time on our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, but a few showers are beginning to pop up. This is out ahead of a warm front that's going to push into central New York as we go throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. That will bring us what you see back to the west, more showers and thunderstorms across the region. So on our Skycast, as we head towards 2 p.m., you can see more of those thunderstorms across the North Country. By 4 or 5 o'clock, they'll move into the Mohawk Valley. But our biggest concern at this point in time looks to be across the North Country. That is where the best chance for some strong to severe thunderstorms will be for this afternoon and into the evening hours. Even by 10 p.m., we're still tracking some strong thunderstorms up towards Boonville as well as Turin and then down across Otsego County. So this is going to continue on and off throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours before we get a break as we head into tonight and into tomorrow. And of course, we're keeping a close eye on those rainfall amounts. The heaviest rain will be contained into those thunderstorms, so we could see another ½ inch up to an inch of rain, especially for the North Country as we go throughout today. Along with those thunderstorms, again, we're tracking the potential for some high winds as well as some flooding. An isolated tornado is possible as well. So keep an eye on the sky for this afternoon into the evening hours with those thunderstorms. Those will taper off for tonight. And then as we head towards tomorrow, dry to start, just like today, with more thunderstorms developing as we head towards Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. Gary?
Jill, thanks. As the Delta...
Some latest information to pass along to you from the Weather Center. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for central Oneida County. This is until 1:15. So I am tracking, again, that potential for some strong thunderstorms to move into central Oneida County. Now, this severe thunderstorm has had history of winds over 60 miles per hour, as well as some large hail. On top of that, you will notice frequent lightning strikes with this thunderstorm. So as we go throughout the afternoon hours, it is pushing to the north and to the east. I'm going to track the core of this storm as it heads to the northeast around 25 miles per hour. It will be heading towards Lee as well as Rome, getting closer towards Steuben. Even Westernville will be in the path of this storm. Again, it is moving to the northeast at 25 miles per hour. So again, this thunderstorm has the potential for winds over 60 miles per hour. And on top of that, we are seeing frequent lightning. We're going to look at that lightning strike. Again, we are seeing lightning strikes within the last hour, over 95 lightning strikes within the last half hour or so. So again, this storm is quite dangerous as it pushes to the north and to the east. So if you do live in central Oneida County, definitely want to head indoors at this point in time. Again, we'll be close to Rome by 1 o'clock, as well as Steuben, Town of Lee, and Westernville. We'll have the latest information coming up after the break.
Thunderstorm warning that has been issued for parts of Oneida County. Once again, here is meteorologist Jill Reel.
That's right. I'm keeping a close eye on this severe thunderstorm. Again, there's just been issued within the last 10 minutes. This is for central Oneida County. This severe thunderstorm has had history of winds over 60 miles per hour, as well as small hail. But the other big story, as we take a live look at our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, a lot of lightning is associated with this thunderstorm as it moves to the north and to the east. Again, I'm going to put a track on this. It is moving about 25 miles per hour to the northeast, so it is heading into central parts of Oneida County. This includes Rome around 1 o'clock, Lee at 12:40, heading towards Steuben after 1 o'clock. So if you do live in these locations or anywhere within that warning, you definitely want to take cover as, again, we are seeing frequent lightning as well as damaging winds with this storm. And this is just the beginning. We're going to be tracking more thunderstorms as we go throughout the afternoon, but I'll keep a close eye on this storm for you and give you the latest update coming up. Gary?
Jill, thanks. A growing crisis.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Jill Reel.
Tracking some severe weather moving into parts of central New York for this afternoon. A live look at our CAV tower cam. We turn the view just a little bit to the west so you can see those dark clouds again across western and parts of central Oneida County, and that is where that severe thunderstorm is right now. On our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, again, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning until 1:15 this afternoon. So again, that thunderstorm is heading towards Rome, and it has had indications of being on the stronger side. So you definitely want to take this storm seriously. We're going to put a track on the storm on our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. If we switch to that view right now, again, this storm has had frequent lightning associated with it and will continue to push to the north and to the east. Again, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning. If we can check the radar out right now, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for central Oneida County until 1:15. So again, I am tracking this storm. It has had history of frequent lightning as well as winds over 60 miles per hour. Again, if we could switch the camera view to our radar, there we go. Okay, we have that severe thunderstorm warning until 1:15. This storm has had history of 60-mile-per-hour winds as well as small hail, but our big focus is going to be on that wind. We're seeing kind of broad rotation with this storm, indicating that it is becoming stronger as it moves towards central Oneida County. Along with that, you can tell on our radar, we are seeing frequent lightning strikes with this storm as well as some heavy rain. So I'm going to put a track on this storm for you. Again, it is moving to the northeast at about 25 miles per hour as it heads into parts of central and into northern Oneida County. Again, it will be near Rome within the next 3 minutes or so. Then it's heading towards Floyd at 107, and then Steuben at 114. Heading towards Remsen as well. Unfortunately, it's also looked like it's heading towards Western and Westernville. I know there's a lot of crew outside still cleaning up from the thunderstorms from last week. If they are outside, make sure they do take cover. Again, this storm is on the strong side with winds of 60 miles per hour as well as frequent lightning as it continues to make its way towards Rome as well as Steuben, Floyd, Remsen, up towards Westernville. Again, it is heading towards parts of central and northern Oneida County. Will not be impacting Utica or down across the southern parts of Oneida County. Again, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning for Oneida County, northern as well as central Oneida County until 1:15. So I know I've been focusing on this storm, but this is our main concern at this point in time. We are going to be seeing more thunderstorms develop as we go throughout the afternoon hours, but as of right now, we're just focusing on that one thunderstorm as it moves through central Oneida County. Again, we're going to keep a close eye on this thunderstorm, plus more that will develop as we head towards this afternoon. Gary?
Jill, thanks. Monday's rains didn't stop them.
Is off tonight, and once again today, the risk for severe weather, even as cleanup continues in communities that were pummeled by Mother Nature last week. Severe thunderstorms, even a tornado possible. We're going to go straight over to the Weather Center now, where Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis is tracking it all. And Bill, I see we have a bunch of watches for counties in our viewing area right now.
Yeah, and I want to stress a couple of things. Number one, at the immediate moment, there's no danger, there's no warnings in effect.
Right.
But this is one of those scenarios that's a little unusual. We have extra ingredients in the atmosphere today that we don't normally have. So we're going to be taking this even more seriously than we normally do. Again, that severe thunderstorm watch in effect for Oneida, Herkimer, Madison, and Shenango counties. So far, a lot of these storms have not reached severe levels. They are to the west, and they are moving to the north. It's kind of an unusual storm path, but these are being generated by a warm front, which is producing some wind shear in the atmosphere. And the bottom line is we're going to watch these storms very slowly move eastward. It's later this evening. The primary concern is going to be for strong gusty winds. And also, we do have that risk for some localized flooding still, because we have very humid conditions and any of those storms are producing locally heavy rain. In fact, the dew point's up to 72. It feels tropical outside as we head into this evening. Again, a few scattered storms. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s to low 80s. Again, tracking those storms as they move into the region, and more storms for tomorrow. Look at that forecast is coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thanks. Joining me now in studios, Oneida County Executive Anthony Picente. And Tony, I think it bears going over, especially since we seem to be seeing an increase in weather events in the county. What does the county do not only to prepare for these events like this, but how they respond once a disaster sadly strikes? So let's start with, what do you do to prepare when you hear Bill say it's an alert day?
Well, obviously we're listening to what Bill has to say and tracking that through the 911 system regularly, and with the Binghamton Weather Service that we use as well as you do to see what's coming our way, and then really just prepare for it. So it's a matter of sending out alerts where necessary, but also then just having our crews ready at the at the ready when things happen. And a lot of it is play it by ear as it comes through, because we have to wait and see what actually is going to happen and what we need to do at that time. But when we know that there's going to be severe flooding or chances of that, the sandbags are ready, the crews are ready, the response is ready, and it's on immediate notice that we just dispatch and start working with local officials throughout any of the towns and villages that are being impacted as well.
I want to talk about this because you were just in Westernville a couple of days ago and you saw the devastation there, and we have some video I want to show our folks that just this swath, and you were even talking with Bill just before we went on the air, just unbelievable to see the devastation in such a narrow path. You were there and you talked to some of the folks there. What are they going through and what are the frustrations that they're having right now?
Well, the biggest frustration, especially with something like a tornado, and Bill can attest to this better than I can or anyone else, that sometimes there's not a notice or not a warning coming, and it just appears. And that's what happened in this case. And so those people heard, a couple people were from down south and heard the sounds of what a tornado is and knew immediately it was coming. But by then there's not a lot of time to react and try to get into the basement of their homes. But as fast as they hear it coming is as fast as it goes through. And so they're dealing with a lot of cleanup, and thankfully no injuries, no lives at risk in that regard. That's a lucky thing. Sometimes that's not the case, especially when roofs and other things get blown off of houses, and the devastation of the number of trees and uprooted and all of the other pieces that came along, power lines. Again, that's the other piece. No fires were started, nothing to that extent. So
we're really fortunate.
Really fortunate, and hopefully we can. We dodged at that time. Hopefully we'll continue to do that.
What can the county do in those kind of situations? Your hands are tied with certain things, especially we talked to you a couple of days ago about, well, what does FEMA do? What can the federal government do? What can the state government do? As a county government, your hands are kind of tied when it comes to what we can give people for support monetarily, right?
Sure, monetarily it's tough, and we have in the past, in the flooding circumstances, established various funding streams for people through working with the Community Foundation and other areas to get them needed assistance. So there are ways we can move around that, but when you're talking about massive devastation like we saw, it's very hard, and we can't. Another thing we can't do is we can't go on private property, because that is not something the government does. So, we try to do as much cleanup on the roadside as we can, get the area back to normal, work with the utilities and work with all the other amenities of whether it's Spectrum and Verizon and Northland and all of the different utilities to get them back up and running as soon as possible and get them into a rescue center, or an emergency center, as we've done in the past with flooding and other types of issues. So the good thing on the tornado was it wasn't that severe that people were displaced to that extent. We've seen that in the past with flooding, and we have set up emergency shelters in those regards, and those were on the ready as well, working with the Red Cross and other partners to do that. So it's a system that just locks in immediately as soon as we see something coming, and especially with what we've been through, unfortunately we've gotten better at it because we've seen it a lot more over the last several years. So we're moving a lot more rapidly in terms of the rescue.
County Executive Anthony Picente, very good to see you. Thank you for coming in, and
thank you.
We'll be on the ready.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on now. Flooding around the region has the Frankfort Center Fire Department concerned, not only for their residents, but for their own firehouse. News Channel 2's Kirk Tupai explains the situation that the fire department is dealing with tonight.
This is Ferguson Creek. It runs right next to the Frankfort Center Fire Department. And while it might not be flowing very strong now, on days when it downpours, it can wreak havoc. This flooding damaged the firehouse in 2017, and in 2019, the department got hit again. Chief Fred DiStefano explains where the problems all start.
The water has nowhere to go. So when it gets down to this point, the first culvert up here, always the debris dams up, and the water comes right over the top of the road. So not only do we get it coming down the road, but we get it coming from the back side of us.
The flooding has already caused considerable damage to the foundation, firehouse floors, and one of their detached buildings.
The water went right straight through the pole barn and destroyed the whole thing. We had a bucket loader on the inside that was underwater by 6 feet.
Now, every time this small hamlet is expecting a lot of rain, volunteers pull the fire trucks out and park them all over the district. If they don't do this, the equipment can become trapped inside the firehouse.
We can't stay here. If the issue's not going to be fixed, we can't stay here. You know, we have to do something. We can't keep moving vehicles every time we know we're going to get heavy rain.
The chief has been working on securing grants to build a new firehouse just around the corner on Welsh Bush Road. The department has already purchased the property, but building a new facility is a costly venture, and raising the money is going to take time. Until then, the department will just have to work with what they have.
We don't know what tonight's going to bring or tomorrow's going to bring, so we will be taking the precautions this afternoon to probably relocate the vehicles again so that we can provide the service that we need to the community.
Fundraising will begin this fall and continue through next year. We'll talk a little bit about those efforts tonight at 6. In Frankfort Center, I'm Kirk Tupai reporting for News Channel 2.
The U.S. Department of Justice and Oneida County.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening and welcome back. We continue to watch things pretty closely to our west. Let's take a live look outside. Our CAVB Tower Cam looking to the west, and we are looking in the direction of some active weather near the Syracuse region. Some thunderstorms have developed out in that area, and they are slowly going to push eastward as we head into this evening. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery, Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Some thunderstorm activity. In fact, one storm, a severe storm just north of Syracuse, but you can see the direction with this warning box. It's to the north of that storm. That's how these storms are behaving here this evening. A lot of this activity is moving from south to north. It's an unusual storm direction because of the weather patterns, but we are going to be on standby mode over the next couple of hours because, again, at the moment, there's nothing concerning here, just a few thunderstorms to the west, but in place, we have some different ingredients weather-wise. There's more what we call wind shear in the atmosphere, which allows storms to sometimes rotate. And we're going to just keep an eye on things as we head into tonight. We think that the storms, the chance of thunderstorms will continue through later this evening. As far as the flood outlook goes, we're expecting the possibility of some localized heavy rain again on Wednesday. The overall risk is lower than what we're seeing today, at least for the storms we're expecting later this evening. Thursday, we're not expecting any issues. We're expecting dry weather, and then we may be having to deal with more rainfall here as we head into later in the week. The humidity, it is going to stay very humid over the next couple of days. Dew points are in the low 70s. It is downright tropical, especially from Utica and points west where that surge of warm air has arrived. Whitesboro 80 degrees, Rome 83, Lowville 84, across the southern valleys, Skeneva's 80 degrees. But again, this only tells you the temperature. You factor in the humidity, it feels much warmer. It feels more like the upper 80s where we have that higher humidity. Again, continuing to track conditions out there with a warm front in place. This is going to serve to help drive some of these storms to the east. And it's going to be a gradual process. So again, the risk of thunderstorms through tonight. Overnight lows will drop down into the low 70s. It's going to be a very warm night. As you head into the day tomorrow, there's going to be the chance of a few pop-up showers and storms, but the severe weather threat is going to be lower, along with the risk for any flash flooding. So we'll still have to be on alert for tomorrow afternoon, but again, it does look like the overall risk for strong storms will be lower. Heading into tomorrow night, the weather does dry out, and we'll get a chance to dry out heading into Thursday. Rainfall forecast, thinking a general 1 to 2 inches from Utica and points north west, less than an inch of rain across the remainder of the area. And again, that takes us through Wednesday evening. Scattered storms tonight down to 70. Tomorrow, looking at scattered storms, temperatures in the low 80s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Again, we continue the alert day through Wednesday with more pop-up storms. A break in the rain Thursday should help things out. We do have more showers and storms in the forecast heading into the weekend. Dry weather Monday and Tuesday. Coming up in a few minutes, Jason, we're looking at river levels, which have been talked about quite a bit.
Everything dumps into the river. We'll see how long before that becomes a problem. Thank you, Bill. One state's voting. Continuing to monitor the weather on this Storm Tracker 2 alert day. We want to get you right back to the Weather Center with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis tracking what's going on the radar right now.
Yeah, most of the activity so far has been to the west, but it does include western Oneida County. Let's take a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. There are no severe thunderstorm warnings in our area at the moment, but this storm is very close to being severe. I think it's just a tick below severe limits, so we still want you to plan on some gusty winds if you live out in Camden. You'll have a lot of thunder and lightning as this storm moves to the north. This will be near Empeyville at around 540. Locally heavy rain, too. We'll take a look at the rainfall rates here and give you an idea of how much these storms are producing. Rainfall rates about 1 inch per hour. So, again, some locally heavy rain here. The bigger picture shows that most of central New York is looking quiet for the moment. We think that the severe weather threat will be later this evening as this first round of storms goes to the north. There will be more storms to the west, should they survive the trip, would be here later this evening. Now, also wanted to touch upon river levels because that's been getting a lot of attention lately. The Sequoia Creek is now at 3 feet. Over the weekend, Sunday night, I should say, it got as high as 8 feet. And Hinckley, we're looking at water levels that are 2 feet below flood stage at the dam. The other dam in our area, Delta Dam, 1.5 feet below flood stage. So at the moment, rivers are doing just fine. We'll continue to watch these thunderstorms as they develop and move into the region later this evening. And again, we do have more storms in the forecast. Should be weaker for tomorrow. We'll take a look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Close to 60 wildfires are meteorologist Bill Cardis, and we have several watches underway for different counties in the area.
Yeah, we're on standby mode. A lot of the weather so far has been to the west. We expect this weather to eventually come eastward later this evening and into tonight. We have a severe thunderstorm watch in place until 11 o'clock this evening. That includes most of our counties. Again, the highest risk is heading to the west. At the moment, there are no warnings in place, at least for now, but we are tracking a storm that is producing some gusty winds, and it's just below severe limits here. This is across northwestern Oneida County. Lots of lightning strikes here. In fact, we will put a count on the lightning strikes over in this particular cell. 49 over the past half an hour. This is heading to the north. This will be moving into southern Lewis County over the next 10 minutes or so. Again, some gusty winds and locally heavy rain. Again, the track at the moment, keeping these storms to the west out of our area. Again, storms are moving from south to north. We are looking at the bigger picture here, and what we're seeing to the west is what we'll be following here as we head later into tonight. This activity that you see in western New York will be here locally sometime around midnight, should it survive the trip. We think it will. Some locally heavy rain is possible. So again, in watch mode here at the moment. We're tracking more rain and storms for Wednesday. A look at that forecast is coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Assemblywoman Marion Button-Shawn.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening and welcome back. We continue to watch things pretty closely to the west. Things at the moment are relatively quiet for most of the area. Let's take a live look outside our CAVV Tower Cam showing some storms to the west. We have some new information to pass along from the National Weather Service. We mentioned how the storm in northwestern Oneida County was just below severe limits. Well, that has briefly changed. So the Weather Service is issuing that severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Oneida County until 6 o'clock this evening, and also Lewis County until 6:45. Again, this storm is heading from south to north. Lots of thunder, lots of lightning. The reason why this has a warning on it is because it has the potential of producing damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour, and you can see a lot of lightning with this as well. In fact, lightning strikes over the past half an hour, 166, so very high amounts of lightning here. Another thing, too, that we're looking at, the precipitation rate. This, of course, is going to be very important with more storms that we're going to be tracking here later today. Look at the rates here. We're looking at close to 2 inches per hour. Thankfully, the storm is not going to sit in one spot for very long, but we're just talking about some very, very heavy rain in that particular region. Another thing to look at for the bigger picture for the remainder of the area, we're looking relatively quiet for the next several hours, but it's to the west. There is a line of storms that are forming in western New York and into western Pennsylvania, and we think that this line is going to be heading to the east. It should survive the trip. That's what we're watching for most of our area for the possibility of locally heavy rain. That doesn't arrive until very late this evening and early tonight, close to about midnight or so. Dew points. It's very warm, it's very humid. And as we know, when it gets this humid, those storms produce a lot of rain in a short amount of time. Factoring in the humidity, the heat index, again, in the low 80s locally. It stays very humid over the next couple of days, too. What we're watching as we head into tonight is, again, those storms to the west. These arrive here later this evening and into early tonight. Again, some localized downpours are possible. We still want folks that have been dealing with flooding from the last two events to be on standby again tonight, again, just as a precaution. Heading into tomorrow, the risk for severe weather is lower. We still have a few storms in the forecast, but we're not expecting the possibility of any stronger storms or anything that's going to be as widespread as we're expecting here later this evening and tonight. Thinking a general 1 to 2 inches of rain overnight and into Wednesday as well. Some scattered storms tonight, down to 70. Tomorrow, the risk for a pop-up shower or storm in the afternoon. Temperatures in the low 80s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Again, we're continuing alert day into Wednesday. With a break in the rain Thursday, I think things get better. There will be at least a chance for water levels to go down. 87 for the high. More scattered showers and storms as we head into the weekend. We'll be right back.
Weather here in central New York. We're going to head right over to the Weather Center where Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis is tracking all we need to know. Bill, good evening.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on storms to the west. We have a severe thunderstorm watch in central New York until 11 o'clock this evening. A severe thunderstorm warning for southern Lewis County. But again, at the moment, most of us are in pretty good shape. We're not looking at any severe weather locally. The one exception would be southern Lewis County. Again, this storm passing just west of Boonville. Lots of thunder, lots of lightning with that. And again, this is going to lift to the north. So again, this is moving out of our television viewing area. That's it for now. We are keeping an eye farther to the west, western New York. Some storms developing out here will be arriving late this evening and into tonight. Current temperature is 79 degrees. And as we head into this evening, again, we will be tracking some storms. Locally heavy rain is possible. So again, there is still the risk for localized flooding as we head throughout late this evening and tonight. Again, based on what we're seeing to the west, we have a few more storms in the forecast for tomorrow as well. We're tracking all this. Look at that forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. The hamlet of Westernville and the town of Western is still cleaning up from last week's tornado as we watch for the potential of more severe weather today. Now, we spoke with Oneida County Executive Anthony Picenti tonight about how the county gets involved to help the small community recover and clean up.
It's dispatching, whatever is necessary, working with law enforcement, but then working with public works, especially in a town like Western, which has a public works department, but it's smaller. So we send resources, trucks, manpower, what's necessary up there, and along with our emergency services team.
Picenti says FEMA's formula for helping areas deal with natural disasters is flawed in that it has no mechanism in place to help smaller communities that experience devastation. The Frankfort Center Fire Department is consistently faced with the possibility of flooding that affects their own firehouse. News Channel 2's Kirk Tupai tells us what their problems entail and what they've come up with as a solution.
Sunday night, the water was about a foot from the top of that Jersey barrier there.
Frankfort Center Fire Chief Fred DiStefano keeps a close eye on the weather. His firehouse was hit with flooding in 2017 and 2019. That flooding trapped the fire apparatus inside the firehouse. Now every time heavy rains are expected, volunteers move the fire trucks out and park them all over town. This at least allows them access to the fire trucks if there's an emergency.
We don't know what tonight's going to bring or tomorrow's going to bring, so we will be taking the precautions this afternoon to probably relocate the vehicles again so that we can provide the service that we need to the community.
The majority of the flooding comes from Ferguson Creek, and the department has considered a number of solutions.
If it was just the back of the property, then we would do that. I'd put Jersey barriers up. But the problem is that bank erodes and the water just...
Flooding has not only caused cracks in the foundation, but the chief believes the subfloor has been compromised, causing the visible cracks you see here.
The department has purchased a piece of property just up the street from the firehouse on Welsh Bush Road. It's here they're hoping to build a new $2.5 to $3 million firehouse. The chief is working on securing grants to help pay for the new facility, but the cost will be a challenge.
Unfortunately, again, COVID has played a big number in the cost of materials. So the cost of what we anticipated a new building being is now almost double what it was before.
The chief anticipates fundraising efforts will take 3 years or more. In the meantime, the department will just have to continue moving vehicles and keeping a close eye on the weather.
We can't stay here. If the issue's not going to be fixed, we can't stay here. You know, we have to do something. We can't keep moving vehicles every time we know we're going to get heavy rain.
We'll provide ways you can donate to the Frankfort Center Firehouse on our website, WKTV.com. In Frankfort Center, I'm Kirk Tupai reporting for News Channel 2.
Decision 20.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. A very warm and very humid afternoon here in Central New York. Let's take a live look outside from our CAV tower cam. We're looking to the west. It's been a relatively quiet day so far, but as we head into tonight, we do expect things to change. In fact, things have been changing in a big way across the northern part of our area. Lots of thunder, lots of lightning just to the west of Boonville. A severe thunderstorm is taking place here in Lewis County. This severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 6:45. Lots of lightning with this, and I think that's going to be the case with more storms later this evening. We'll put a count on the lightning strikes that's come up over the past hour. 227 strikes in this general area, which is about the size of half of Lewis County over the past half an hour. Also some locally heavy rain. That's lifting north. These storms are moving from south to north tonight in general, so things are going to stay pretty quiet as those storms head out of our area. However, we are watching to the west. Western New York, western Pennsylvania, more storms are developing out here, and these are several hours away. So these are going to be arriving, we think, closer to midnight, producing a round of locally heavy rainfall, thunder and lightning. So we should have a pretty quiet evening for most of us. And again, we're watching those storms for later this evening and early tonight. High humidity, dew point 71. It is very humid outside, and it will stay very humid, making it feel like the low 80s. In fact, at one point it felt close to 90 earlier this afternoon. The humidity stays high over the next couple of days. The levels drop back somewhat as we head into the weekend. Temperatures are in the low 80s across the area, but again, with high humidity, it feels warmer than that. Sequoia, 78 degrees. Richfield, Jim checks in with 82. West Lawrence with 80. So again, watching those storms tonight, we still have the possibility of localized flooding. We think that this round that arrives later this evening could still produce a quick inch or two of accumulation. And again, that will be around as we head later into this evening and early tonight. Things quiet down after midnight, and we're looking at a dry start to Wednesday morning. More scattered showers and storms are possible on Wednesday, but the overall risk for severe weather is lower, and the overall chance for any flash flooding is lower. It's not zero, but it is lower. And again, we're going to be tracking those storms as they roll through during Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. Then we'll get a nice break in the weather, expecting dry conditions on Thursday. We could pick up a quick inch or two of rainfall tonight, and again, that could promote some localized flooding. Again, the primary focus, as it has been all along, areas that have seen flooding in the last two events, we just want you to be on standby, again, with additional rainfall. As we all know, there's been plenty of rain lately. Streams are running still relatively high. The soil is saturated. Really can't deal with too much additional rain in the area. Once we get through Wednesday, we should have a nice break here from the rain, at least temporarily. Some scattered storms tonight, down to 70 tomorrow. Scattered storms in the early afternoon, a high of 82. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. The alert day continues one more day for Wednesday, 82. We're dry on Thursday. It's still warm and humid as we head into the start of the weekend. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Still to come on News.
Last check of the radar, a severe thunderstorm moving into northern Lewis County. Out of our viewing area, this warning remains in effect until 6:45. Things are going to look quiet, at least for the next few hours. We are tracking this line to the west that'll be arriving late this evening. We're tracking the latest conditions tonight at 10 and 11.
Just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to all the viewers in my tonight. It's the calm before the storm. Right now, out west in Syracuse, they're dealing with heavy rains, winds, and lightning. And it's all coming this way. Just depends on how severe. In fact, within the last 5 minutes, a thunderstorm warning for our viewing area, for parts of our viewing area. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis, who's tracking it all in the Weather Center. Bill, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Jason. We have a severe thunderstorm warning issued by the National Weather Service for Oneida and Madison County until 11 o'clock. The possibility of 60-mile-an-hour winds is something we'll be keeping an eye on as this line approaches from the west. It's putting on quite the show. If you look to the west, lots of thunder and lightning with this. And this is a continuous line stretching basically across New York State. So we are bracing ourselves for some gusty winds, some locally heavy rain, and quite a bit of thunder and lightning as this approaches the area. I think it does weaken a little as it gets into a less favorable environment. But again, we are going to keep an eye on things, and whether it's thunder, lightning, gusty winds, or the possibility of rain. Certainly some weather to deal with here over the next couple of hours. Current temperature is 74 degrees. Heading into tonight, again, some storms over the next couple of hours. Locally heavy rain. Things will become a little bit quieter later tonight, and then another round of some storms here for Wednesday. A look at that forecast is coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. The hamlet of Westernville and the town of Western still cleaning up from last week's tornado as we watch for the potential of more severe weather coming in tonight and in tomorrow. Now, we spoke with Oneida County Executive Anthony Picente, who surveyed the damage this weekend, and we asked him about how the county gets involved to help the small community recover and clean up.
It's dispatching, whatever is necessary, working with law enforcement, but then working with public works, especially in a town like Western, which has a public works department, but it's smaller. So we send resources, trucks, manpower, what's necessary up there, and along with our emergency services team.
Picente says FEMA's formula for helping areas deal with natural disasters is flawed in that it has no mechanism in place to help smaller communities that experience devastation. While first responders are on standby in the event of extreme weather that warrants their response, the Frankfort Center Fire Department is consistently faced with the possibility of flooding that affects their own firehouse. News Channel 2's Kirk Tupai tells us what their problem entails and what they've come up with as a solution.
Sunday night, the water was about a foot from the top of that Jersey barrier there.
Frankfort Center Fire Chief Fred DiStefano keeps a close eye on the weather. His firehouse was hit with flooding in 2017 and 2019. That flooding trapped the fire apparatus inside the firehouse. Now every time heavy rains are expected, volunteers move the fire trucks out and park them all over town. This at least allows them access to the fire trucks if there's an emergency.
We don't know what tonight's going to bring or tomorrow's going to bring, so we will be taking the precautions this afternoon to probably relocate the vehicles again so that we can provide the service that we need to the community.
The majority of the flooding comes from Ferguson Creek, and the department has considered a number of solutions.
If it was just the back of the property, then we would do that. I'd put Jersey barriers up. But the problem is that bank erodes and the water just...
Flooding has not only caused cracks in the foundation, but the chief believes the subfloor has been compromised, causing the visible cracks you see here.
The department has purchased a piece of property just up the street from the firehouse on Welsh Bush Road. It's here they're hoping to build a new $2.5 to $3 million firehouse. The chief is working on securing grants to help pay for the new facility, but the cost will be a challenge.
Unfortunately, again, COVID has played a big number in the cost of materials. So the cost of what we anticipated a new building being is now almost double what it was before.
The chief anticipates fundraising efforts will take 3 years or more. In the meantime, the department will just have to continue moving vehicles and keeping a close eye on the weather.
We can't stay here. If the issue's not going to be fixed, we can't stay here. We have to do something. We can't keep moving vehicles every time we know we're going to get heavy rain.
We'll provide ways you can donate to the Frankfort Center Firehouse on our website, WKTV.com. In Frankfort Center, I'm Kirk Tupai reporting for News Channel 2.
New tonight.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening and welcome back. We're taking a live look outside from our CAVV Tower Cam. We are seeing a lightning show, at least we were seeing a lightning show a few minutes ago. Things have quieted temporarily down from our vantage point. Lots and lots of thunder and lightning, though, on the Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings, and they stretch across a large portion of the area. We'll start to the north and work our way south. This one is for Lewis County, all of Lewis County until 11:30. This is for Oneida County and Madison County until 11. And then this portion of Otsego County and just about all of Shenango County until 11 o'clock this evening. So again, a large portion of the area under a severe thunderstorm warning. The reason why has to do with the possibility of gusty winds, wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. You can clearly see on the radar that there are stronger parts of this line compared to others, specifically north across northern Oneida County. There's a lot more lightning strikes up here, and this is moving to the north and east. So there's a higher chance of wind damage in Lewis County compared to Oneida County, and there's also a higher chance of wind damage in Shenango and Otsego County, again, with more lightning strikes and with some heavier returns on the radar. I don't want to say that Oneida County is free and clear here, but it does appear to be the case, at least for now. But the bottom line is some strong winds are possible. We have more heavy rain to the west. So in addition to the severe weather threat, we also have to get through a round of some locally heavy rain. And I think this may be enough to cause some issues here as we head into tonight. It's a pretty solid line of heavy rain to the west. So we are tracking multiple things, multiple potential issues here over the next couple of hours. As we look at the radar and satellite image, this line of severe weather is being created by a warm front. So this is going to weaken as it heads to the east. As we look at our Storm Tracker 2 Skycast, we're really not expecting a lot of weather in the eastern, for areas east of Utica tonight. So other than some steadier rainfall, things do quiet down, at least weather-wise, later tonight. But again, we're going to be watching for the possibility of some localized flooding from those storms. Now, tomorrow we do run the risk of some thunderstorms, but the risk of severe weather is a lot lower. We still could see a few downpours. I just don't think it's going to be as widespread as what we're seeing out there tonight. And then Thursday, we'll get a chance to dry out. Again, a general 1 to 2 inches of rainfall is possible as those storms move through the area over the next couple of hours. Scattered storms tonight. Do watch out in poor drainage areas, areas prone to flash flooding. You may have additional issues tonight. Tomorrow, scattered storms, temperatures in the low 80s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Our alert day continues into early Wednesday. Then things start to quiet down. Thursday, we're dry. We're in the mid-80s. Showers, thunderstorms possible Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Dry weather pattern setting up early next week with high temperatures in the low to mid-80s. We'll be right back.
Thank you for joining us. Severe thunderstorm warnings are now in place for a couple of counties in our viewing area right now as heavy rains and thunder, lightning, strong winds all making their way towards us. For the very latest, let's head over to Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis, who's tracking it all in the Weather Center for us tonight.
Yeah, busy night, Jason. We're looking at thunderstorms, a line of storms, many areas under a severe thunderstorm warning. This is a look at the map. Anywhere in orange, a severe thunderstorm warning. This includes eastern Oneida County until midnight, as well as Otsego County that has just been issued here just moments ago, again until midnight. We're tracking a line of storms, and the primary issue as the front end of this line rolls through, we could have wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. That's why we have severe thunderstorm warnings on these. I want to track some of the heavier weather as it approaches into Otsego County, moving towards Columbus at 11:14, Edmondson at 11:25, and Burlington at 11:35. In addition to that, once the front line moves through, we've got a lot of rain to the west to get through. So it's possible that this heavy rain over the next couple of hours instigates some flash flooding. Again, that's going to be taking place overnight, and we will continue to follow that very closely. Current temperature is 73 degrees, and again tonight, storms for the next couple of hours. Things will improve. At least the rain comes to an end here tonight, and we'll have more thunderstorms to track as well for tomorrow. These are not expected to be quite as strong as we're going to be dealing with over the next couple of hours. Look at your forecasts coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. We're just getting started tonight. The hamlet of Westernville and the town of Western still cleaning up from last week's tornado as we watch for the potential for more severe weather into tonight and in tomorrow. We spoke with Oneida County Executive Anthony Picente about how the county gets involved in helping the small community recover and clean up.
It's dispatching, whatever is necessary, working with law enforcement, but then working with public works, especially in a town like Western, which has a public works department, but it's smaller. So we send resources, trucks, manpower, what's necessary up there, and along with our emergency services team.
Picente says FEMA's formula for helping areas deal with natural disasters is flawed in that it has no mechanism in place to help smaller communities that experience devastation. While first responders are on standby in the event of extreme weather that warrants their response, the Frankfort Center Fire Department, is consistently faced with the possibility of flooding that affects their own firehouse. News Channel 2's Kirk Tupai tells us what their problems entail and what they've come up with as a solution.
Sunday night, the water was about a foot from the top of that Jersey barrier there.
Frankfort Center Fire Chief Fred DiStefano keeps a close eye on the weather. His firehouse was hit with flooding in 2017 and 2019. That flooding trapped the fire apparatus inside the firehouse. Now every time heavy rains are expected, volunteers move the fire trucks out and park them all over town. This at least allows them access to the fire trucks if there's an emergency.
We don't know what tonight's going to bring or tomorrow's going to bring, so we will be taking the precautions this afternoon to probably relocate the vehicles again so that we can provide the service that we need to the community.
The majority of the flooding comes from Ferguson Creek, and the department has considered a number of solutions.
If it was just the back of the property, then we would do that. I'd put Jersey barriers up. But the problem is that bank erodes and the water just...
Flooding has not only caused cracks in the foundation, but the chief believes the subfloor has been compromised, causing the visible cracks you see here.
The department has purchased a piece of property just up the street from the firehouse on Welsh Bush Road. It's here they're hoping to build a new $2.5 to $3 million firehouse. The chief is working on securing grants to help pay for the new facility, but the cost will be a challenge.
Unfortunately, again, COVID has played a big number in the cost of materials. So the cost of what we anticipated a new building being is now almost double what it was before.
The chief anticipates fundraising efforts will take 3 years or more. In the meantime, the department will just have to continue moving vehicles and keeping a close eye on the weather.
We can't stay here. If the issue's not going to be fixed, we can't stay here. We have to do something. We can't keep moving vehicles every time we know we're going to get heavy rain.
We'll provide ways you can donate to the Frankfort Center Firehouse on our website, WKTV.com. In Frankfort Center, I'm Kirk Tupai reporting for News Channel 2.
New tonight.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening and welcome back. We are taking a live look outside from our Cavvy Tower Cam. We've caught quite the lightning show here in central New York over the past about hour and a half as these thunderstorms have been approaching from the west. And this is a look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. A severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until midnight tonight, including southern Oneida, Madison, Otsego, and Shenango County. The primary concern, gusty winds. Winds up to 60 miles an hour, which could still do some damage as this line rolls through, specifically that southern end of the line, moving through Brookfield and in the next few minutes, Burlington at 11:40, Richfield at 11:52. There is plenty of lightning as well, as many of you have noticed, especially it's easy to see when it's really dark out. And we are not only tracking the severe element on the front end, but also some locally heavy rain. Look at all this rain to the west. It's moderate to heavy rainfall. I think many areas will pick up an inch of rain and that could be just enough to instigate localized flooding. We've been through this before, and we are probably going to see this somewhere tonight, just based on the radar images and what we've been dealing with here over the past couple of days. So that'll be taking place in about 2 to 3 hours. I think a lot of these issues should be over with by tomorrow morning. Flooding, especially flash flooding, happens very quickly, but it also ends very quickly here in central New York. So again, multiple things to be watching here as we go forward. Check out the lightning. This is in Sequoia. Corey Farley capturing this great shot. Again, plenty of lightning taking place across the area. This cluster of thunderstorms has a name to it. This is called a mesoscale convective system. It's a large clump of storms, lots of thunder, lots of lightning. These are known to produce heavy rainfall. And again, we will be dealing with this for the next couple of hours here as it moves across the area. So again, do want to stress that we are also continuing to watch for any localized flooding to take place once this heavy rain rolls through over the next couple of hours. Skycasts didn't do the best job showing this, but regardless, we do expect to see some thunderstorms again tomorrow. There's going to be a few of them around, especially earlier in the day. The severe weather risk is lower tomorrow compared to tonight. I don't expect widespread activity. I also don't expect the rain to be as heavy as we're going to be experiencing here over the next couple of hours for tomorrow. So a little bit of good news there. And even better news, we get a chance to dry out as we head into Thursday, expecting some sunshine, temperatures back into the 80s. Again, an inch or two of rain is expected overnight with these thunderstorms as they roll through, possibly triggering some localized flooding. Scattered storms tonight down to 70. Tomorrow, some scattered storms in the afternoon, a high of 82. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Again, we continue the alert day through tomorrow, at least the first half of the day, continuing to keep an eye on river levels and streams based on the rain that we're experiencing tonight. Things get better Thursday, dry weather, temperatures in the mid-80s. A few more thunderstorms in the forecast as we head into the weekend. Temperatures in the low to mid-80s early next week. We'll be right back.